Man, I love Dynasty Warriors. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to finally, after months and months of polls and who do you like better and what do you think about this guy and this character and da-da-da, we finally have or at least I have everything I need in order to make this video. Which characters is actually the most popular based on the data that I collected. So if you were on Reddit or Facebook or here on this YouTube channel, you've seen over the last few months that I've been posting these polls in order to achieve my goal of figuring out which Dynasty Warriors characters are the most popular. Now there's obviously 94 people to get through. We have a lot to cover here. We're going to go as fast as we can, but as concise as we can, and bring in as much data as I can in order to make the placements for each character as solid as I can. And basically how each character is ranked is based on the ratings that each character was given, along with little sprinkles of who they were compared to and where they ended up falling. Anyway guys, we have a lot to cover here. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the most popular characters. We're going to be ranking them one by one, starting off with obviously the bottom. Who is the character that is disliked the most or the least most popular? If that makes sense, I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna jump right into it, starting off with number 94. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and get right in. Starting off at number 94, this character is the only character to have received over 50% of their votes in the lowest tier. It's arguable whether or not this character should have been put in the game. This character is hailing from Shu, and it's going to be...
This must be my lucky day.
Now moving into number 93, again we have another very close character in terms of the last one. Almost 50% of this character's votes is in the lowest tier. This is why they're second to last on this rankings list. I think the character is represented well. I think the hate he deserves is because of the way he is. And that's why this character is here at number 93, which is...
Don't feel ashamed. What happened was inevitable.
Alright, next up, coming in at number 92, we have another character hailing in from Shu. This character received over 40% of their votes into the lowest tier, overall putting them down here at number 92. The character just, I think, needs a little bit more development. A lot of people don't like the character because of the elements that she presents in the games, or the lack thereof. And that character for number 92 is going to be...
I'll have you know, I'm a lot stronger than I look.
Now moving into number 91, we have another character hailing from the Kingdom of Shu. Similar to the last number, about 40% of their votes was into the bottom tier, pushing them all the way down to the number 91 spot. So coming in at number 91, we have...
I wonder if I really should be putting myself in such danger.
And last character in the 90s, once again another character from the Kingdom of Shu. We have a significant drop off in the character. Most of his votes came into the C tier, about 40% was in the C tier, only 27% was in the F tier. But because they did not receive a lot of high ratings, this character lands at number 90, which is going to be...
I am to be the last thing you see on this battlefield.
Now, breaking into the 80s, we have a character who is rightfully to be hated. They definitely deserve to be hated. Almost 40% of their votes came from the lowest tier. However, the reason that he's above Guansuo is because 20% of their votes was actually in the highest tier. But unfortunately, it was not enough to carry him farther than the 89th spot, and that's going to be...
All that oppose me shall be put to death!
Alright, next up, coming in at number 88, this character received the majority of their votes in the B column. About 34% of it was towards that column, and then the second highest column was the lowest tier, which is 26%, dragging him down here at number 88. I wouldn't disagree with the ranking. I think the character is deserved to be a little bit lower, and that's going to be...
How pathetic I must be.
Alright, next up, coming in at number 87, this character's highest rating, 43% of his rating, similar to Guansuo, is in the C tier. About 60% of all of his votes were in the B and C tier, and then the lowest tier is what drags him down here, giving him a negative overall ranking. I just think the character needs a little bit of a revamp, maybe a different weapon, and I think this character will be a lot better. Coming in at number 87, we have...
Ready to run? Let's do this at top speed.
Now, next up coming in at number 86, similar to Josong, the last number, B's and C's was mainly this character's bread and butter. About 55% was here, but 20% of their votes dragged them down to number 86. He's the last character with a negative overall percentage. Character that I personally don't like either. I think he needs a revamp, and that's going to be...
All that effort for nothing.
Alright, coming in at number 85, this character's highest ranking in terms of votes is in the lowest tier with 26%, almost 27% of voters voting this character in the lowest tier. But except for the A column, all the other tiers were about 20%, including the highest one. So this is the first character that squeaks its way out of the negative and into the positives, barely, earning their spot at number 85, and that's going to be...
You better make this fun for me.
Next up coming in number 84, about 31% of their votes came into the B column. They had about 19% of their votes going into the lowest category, dragging them down to the 84th spot, just barely squeaking an advantage over Miss Dong Bai. We have...
Fear not! Hua Xiong has joined the fray!
Alright, coming in at number 83, this character, similar to some of the other characters, a lot of their votes came in at B or C, but because he has a lower D and F tier rating at only 16%, I think that's what brought him up a little bit higher. And hailing from the Jin Kingdom, we've got...
I need to make sure I don't fall behind.
Alright, next up coming in at number 82, we've got a character from the Kingdom of Shu again. 44% of their votes was into the B column, and then everything else was spread out pretty evenly, except for obviously the highest tier. He only got like 4%. It wasn't good at all, because his F tier was a lot lower at about 13%. And that's going to be...
It looks like I wasn't much help.
Alright, next up coming in at number 81, similar to Zhang Bao in the last number, about 41% of their votes came into the B column, 17% is in the lowest tier, but because I think of the extra boost on the highest tier, about 8% of the voters voted them at the highest ranking. Another character from the Jin Kingdom, we have...
I am Guo Huai. I shall show you no mercy.
Alright, closing out the 80s, we've got a character from Wei. I think this is the very first character from Wei. Similar to some of the other characters, most of their votes came from B and C. And I think with a little bit of a more development for this character, I think he would actually be a little bit higher, potentially, depending on how they develop him later. But finishing off the 80s, we have...
Glory to Wei!
Alright, breaking into the 70s, similar to Sao Shu in the last one. About 65% of their votes came from the B and C category, but I think because of the slightly higher S rating along with the slightly higher A rating, this character is able to push past Sao Shu and end up in 79th, and that's going to be...
I shall be your opponent. Show me how strong you truly are.
Alright, next up coming in at number 78, similar to how Ding Fong was a little bit over Sao Shu, this character coming from Shu was a little bit over Ding Fong and allowed them to squeak past them at number 78, and that's going to be...
Guan Xing, at your service.
Alright, next up coming in at number 77, another character from the Kingdom of Wu. Again, about 65% of their votes went into the B and C category, 20% hit the A category, and only about 13% for this character was dragging him down here at number 77, and that's going to be...
All of my enemies shall go up in flames.
Alright, next up coming in at number 76, this is actually the highest ranking B character. 45% of his votes came in at the B category, followed by 24% in the C. And then because I think of the low percentage with the lowest category, only getting about 8% of his total votes in the lowest category, they end up at number 76, which is going to be...
I will never let you pass. Observe my ironclad will.
Next up, coming in at number 75. Pretty even stats throughout the board. This is probably why he made it up here at number 75. Even though with a 17% rating in the lowest ranking, he was able to push his way up here. 13% in the highest one. Hailing from Wei, and coming in at number 75, we have...
Yeah, I'm gonna squash you.
Alright, next up, coming in at number 74, another character from the Kingdom of Wei. 35% of their votes came in from the B tier, along with another 45% coming from the A and the C tier. Pushing him up here at number 74, we have...
It looks like it's time for me. How to go about this then?
Alright, coming in at number 73, we have another character from the Kingdom of Wei. 75% of their votes were in the A, B, and C category. 15% of their votes dragged them down in the lowest tier, and the remaining 12% is among the highest tier. Pretty even distribution, I would say, for this character. Coming in at number 73, don't get too close because she might play you a Song of Death. We have...
I have no reservations about taking to the battlefield if it helps end this chaos.
Next up, coming in at number 72, we have a character from the Kingdom of Shu. 35% of their votes came in from the B tier column, then about 26% on the A tier, which I think raised him up a little bit. However, he received 13% of his votes in the lowest tier and only 8% on the highest one, which is not going to pull him up that high. But coming at number 72, he can really help paint a picture, and that's going to be...
Did you summon me? I'll try and do what I can.
Alright, next up at number 71, right before we hit the 60s, we've got a character with 27% of their votes coming in at the C category. The other four categories are pretty even out. With a little over 17% in the highest tier, I think that's what's going to pull them up here at number 71, and that's going to be...
I'm here to do my best in this battle.
Last character in the 70s, we have a character from the Kingdom of Wei. 35% of their votes came in from the B category, and then another 30% in the C category. But I think because of their low percentage in the lowest tier, only about 9% of the voters voted this character in the lowest tier. Always thinking of some strategy in the dark, we have...
I have been waiting for this moment. Initiate the strategy.
Alright, breaking into the beautiful number 69, we've got a character with 41% of their votes coming in the B category, followed by another 28% in the C category, so a lot of their votes came in from the B and C. However, because of their extremely low D and F rating, only about 5.5% of voters voted this character on the lowest tier. I think that's why this character, who is a little bit questionable, comes in at number 69, which is...
I am Li Dian, your worst nightmare.
Next up, coming in at number 68, we've got an all-around character. All of her votes, I would say, are pretty evenly distributed. Her highest one is in the B category, about 25%, and all the other ones hover around 20%, except for the lowest ratings, which is only at 15%. So this character, full of energy, actually ends up beating her sister in terms of ranking. Hailing from the Wu Kingdom, we have...
Let me join you guys. I want to play too. So what's everybody doing?
Next up, coming in at number 67, 35% of their votes came in from the B tier, with their second highest one being the A tier at about 20%. And even though they had a lower S tier percentage than Xiao Qiao, I think because of their lower F tier rating at only 12%, I think that's why this is going to raise this noble character above Xiao Qiao, and that's going to be...
You dare to defy the might of the Yuans? Untutored fool!
Alright, coming in at number 66, which is a little coincidental, as this character can be a little evil at times. A lot of his votes, 28% in both the A and B category, 18% of his votes came in from the top tier, and 14% is going to drag him down in the lowest tier. But this character, hailing in from Shu, coming at number 66 as the most popular characters on this list, and that's going to turn out to be...
Allow me to show you why I'm considered to be the bad guy.
Next up, coming in at number 65, we got a character who shares similarities with that last character, Fa Zhang. Some evil tendencies, I would say for sure. A and B category are the strongest ones for this character, 25 and 32% respectively. But this character has less than 10% in the lowest tier in terms of the votes, which I think allowed him to barely squeak past Fa Zhang on that last number. And coming in at number 65, we have the sneaky and devious...
My intellect shall lead us to victory.
All right, next up, coming at number 64, we have a character, again, A and B are the highest categories, B with almost 30% and A at 25. 18% of voters put him in the highest tier, while 11%, almost 12, put him down at the lowest one. A character that's not personally a favorite of mine either, but he comes in here at number 64, squeaks a little bit past Chen Gong. Hailing from the Jin Kingdom, we have the ambitious, arrogant, flying sword wielder.
I always knew I was the best. This just confirms it for everybody else's sake.
Next up at number 63. Overall, he barely squeaks past Zhang Hui, like 0.4% gets him at number 63. A lot of his votes came in from the A and B category. I believe he was among the highest for the A tier with about 35%, pushing him up here at number 63, and then 32% in the B category. Both the highest and the lowest categories are under 10%, which is why I don't think he went too high. But coming number 63, we have a character from Wu, and one of the more respectable, newer playable characters, and that's going to be...
Allow me to teach you a little something about battle.
Next up, coming in at number 62, we've got a character again from the Kingdom of Shu. I think he's among the highest for the B tier. About 40% of his votes came in at the B tier, and only about 7% in the lowest tier. Not a widely hated character. People seem to decently like him, and that's why he's here at number 62. Barely squeaks past Chang Pu, about a 0.75% difference in overall. We've got the Son of a God, and that's going to be...
Defeat is unacceptable for the son of the God of War!
Next up, coming at number 61, we have another mysterious character. 0.75% is the difference between this character and the last one, Guan Ping. 26% of their votes came in at the A tier, and surprisingly, almost 25% of their votes came in at the highest tier. But because of the 16% in the lowest tier, this character gets, I think, dragged down here. But still doesn't take away that at number 61, we've got the mysterious, ancient...
I should be of some good use.
Closing out the 60s, again, another 0.75% difference and squeaking his way up to number 60 past Zuo C. 32% of his votes came in from the A tier and about 18% on the highest tier. Similar to Zuo C, I think, even with the 18% on the highest one, the 13% of voters voting him in the lowest one is what is dragging him down here to number 60. Hailing from the Shu Kingdom, I understand why people might not like him. We have the pinnacle of benevolence himself.
I won't stop until I've fulfilled my duty.
Now, coming in at number 59, there's a bigger difference here, about 3% difference that puts this character above Zheng Wei. A lot of his votes came in from the B and A category, 31 and 24% respectively. And then for the lowest tier, he actually had only 6.5% people put him down there. 17% of people voted him up in the S tier, and this character, just like he did in history, gets an edge over Zheng Wei. We got the map analyzing big buff man himself.
You have some guts if you're willing to face Deng Ai in battle.
Next up, coming in at number 58, we've got 30% on both A and the B tier. A lot of his votes went towards the A and B tier. Again, similar to Deng Ai, only about 7% of people put him in the lowest one, and again, roughly about 16% of people put him in the highest one. I think because of the higher percentage on the A tier, that pushed him a little bit above Deng Ai, but still, he is a comrade of Deng Ai from the Jin Kingdom, one of the newest characters from there. We have...
I shall lead us to victory.
Now, coming in at number 57, 30% of the voters put this character in the B tier, followed by another 30% putting him in the A tier. He is among the lowest we've seen for the lowest tier. Only 3.8% of people put him in the lowest tier, which is absolutely astounding. 14% put him in the highest tier, and this character, because I think of those low numbers in the low tier, but pushing him up with the A tier and a little bit of that S, always finding a way to rake in them strategies, we have...
Whom shall I engage in combat?
Alright, coming in at number 56, we have less than 1% difference between these two characters overall, which puts this character just barely above Lu Su. We have 25% of this character's votes coming in the highest tier, and then 27 of their votes coming in the B tier. I think that's where it averages out and why the character gets pulled down here. Only 8% of people put this character in the lowest tier. And this character comes from the Jin Kingdom, among the newest. Coming in at number 56, we have...
I hate insect puns. They bug me.
Alright, next up, coming in at number 55. A little bit over 1% difference between this character and the last one. 30% of the voters actually put this character in the highest position. But unfortunately, I think the character gets dragged down because of the 11% in the lowest tier and only about 18% in the A tier. But unfortunately, because of the lower rankings, this character gets dragged down to 55. A character that I thought was pretty popular, known for her strength and personality, we have...
Being so strong is nice. There are many out there who aren't.
Alright, next up we have another strategist from the Wei Kingdom. 34%, 33.5% of people put this character in the A tier, and impressively, only 5.5% of people put this character in the lowest tier. 30% of other voters put him in the B tier, so A and B is where this character is really swimming, and about 17.5% of people put him in the highest tier. About 1% difference between this character and Guan Yinping. We have...
Can you withstand my strategy?
Next up, coming in at number 53, another character from the Wu Kingdom. 34% of people put this character in the A category, and then his highest category after that was the B tier with about 26.5%. Only 8% of people put him down in the lowest tier. This young tiger clawed his way up to number 53, and we have...
I'll show you the strength of the Soon family!
Coming in at number 52, we got some higher rankings for this character. 34% of people put him in the A tier, just like Sun Quan, and about 28% of people put him in the highest tier. I think they get dragged down here because of the 12% in the lowest tier. He's got some haters, Coming in at number 52, we have the origin of benevolence, which is...
Those who stand in the way of virtue shall fail.
Alright, coming in at number 51, barely squeaking past Liu Bei on this last one. Less than 1% difference in their overalls. This character also had 28% for the highest tier, but only 7% for his lowest one. The S tier is actually the highest percent for this character, and the other three are kind of around the same percentage. So barely squeaking past the Man of Benevolence, we have...
The day of the yellow turbans draws near!
Alright, coming in at number 50. Last number in the 50s, this character almost had 40% of his votes go into the B column, which makes him among the highest for that tier. And then another 34% put him in the A tier. Impressively, this character only received about 2% of votes, putting him down in the lowest tier, and then 17% put him in the highest tier possible. This character hails from Wei. He was known to be a little short and was shot in the face by the legendary Gan Ning. Coming in at number 50, we have...
I fight to bring glory to our forces!
Next up, coming in at number 49, breaking into the 40s, almost halfway done. This character almost had 30% of voters put him in the highest tier. 20% put him in the A tier, and only 6% put him down in the lowest one. His overall compared to Yue Jin, 0.22% difference is what puts his character above Yue Jin. Coming in at number 49, we have the leader of the South.
Have no fear, for the King of Nanman has arrived!
Alright, talk about close. I mean, we talked about close in the last one. This character, coming at number 48, hailing from the Wei Kingdom, had a 0.05% difference than Meng Huo, putting him above here. Only 4% of people put him in the lowest spot. About 65% of people put him in the A or the B spot, and 20% of people skyrocket him up to the S tier. Coming in at number 48, we have the Master of Defense.
I shall teach you the horrors of war!
Alright, we're at the halfway mark, coming in at number 47. Another character from the Kingdom of Wei. This is the highest ranking A tier among all of the characters. 44.5% of people put this character in the A tier, and less than 5% of voters put him in the lowest one. But because he got less than 20% of people putting him in the highest tier, and one of the most deadliest strategists from that kingdom, we have...
You must have angered the heavens to face me in battle.
Coming in at number 46, we have another character from the Kingdom of Wei. About 31% of people put this character in the A tier, and then he tied on two other categories in the S and the B tier at 27%. 5% of people put him down in the lowest tier, and this character making his heroic stand at the Battle of Fan Castle. A huge difference in terms of percentage between him and Jia Shu. We have...
My duty is to defend this castle, therefore I will have to destroy you.
Alright, next character coming in at number 45. Nearly 70% of voters put him in the A or B category, and surprisingly he has among the lowest F tier ratings, with only 1.5% of voters putting him down in the F or D column. This character reigning in from the Wu Kingdom, one of the originals from the Wu Kingdom, all the way back in Dynasty Warriors 1, we have...
Come, Tai Shi Chi shall be the last thing in your way.
Next up, coming in at number 44, 30% of people put him in the A and the B category, 25% of people skyrocketed this character up to the S tier, and again, only about 2% of people put this character down in the lowest tier. About a 0.15 difference between this character and Taishitsu. We've got the fire attacking boat master himself.
I hit pretty hard. Think you can take it?
Next up, coming in at number 43, this character is coming in from the Jin Kingdom. Among the highest when it comes to the A tier placements, around 42% of voters put this character in the A tier, along with 23% of people putting him up in the highest tier. Only a 0.03% overall difference between this character and Huanggai. We've got the heir to the destruction of the three kingdoms himself.
I suppose I have to go out there and do something once in a while.
Next up, coming in at number 42, another character from the Kingdom of Jin. This character is the second highest rated A tier. 44.2% of voters put him in the A tier. And even though he only has about 20% of people putting him in the highest tier, only 3% put this character in the lowest tier. Coming in at number 42, brother of the last number, we have...
I shall be the last one standing once the chaos has reached its conclusion.
Next up, coming in at number 41, a 0.26% overall difference between the last number in Sima Shi and the character that we have right now. The character is pretty even in S tier, A tier, and B tier. About 30% for each of these categories, and only 5% of people put this character down in the lowest tier, squeaking a small advantage over the Sima brothers. We've got a character from Wu, a legendary general who took down the god of war, and that's going to be...
To me has been entrusted the fate of Wu. I shall be victorious.
Next up, coming in at number 40, closing out the 40s, we've got a character who received 35% of their votes into the A tier. He hails in from the same kingdom as Lu Meng, and shockingly enough, this character received less than 2% of voters, putting him down in the lowest tier. By a 0.2 difference on overall percentage, this character, who saved Sun Quan's life during the Battle of Hefei, comes in at number 40. We have...
Ling Tong to the rescue!
Next up, coming in at number 39, 33% of people put this character in the S tier column. Hailing from the Shu Kingdom, about 7% of people put him in the lowest tier, and he barely squeaks a placement over Ling Tong with about a 0.2% overall difference. Coming in at number 39, we've got the Barbarian himself.
Destroy enemy!
Next up, coming in at number 38, this is probably the closest in terms of squeaking past another person. 0.02% overall, barely squeaks past Wei Yan in that last one. 36% of people put him in the S tier, and almost 9% of people put him down in the lowest tier. He's hailing from the Jin Kingdom. He's evil, he's darkness, he's got those axes, and he's going to make you pay if you cross him. Coming in at number 38, we have...
Sure, you can pass through. As a corpse.
Coming in at number 37, we have another character from the Kingdom of Wei. Similar percentages to Wei Yan, but because this character only had about 5% of voters put him in the lowest spot, that's what I think brought the character up here. 33% of people put this character in the S tier, 25% in the A, and this character, one of the most ferocious, intimidating characters from the game, we have...
Alright, who's next in line?
Alright, next up, coming in at number 36, we got a 0.4% overall difference, so this character barely gets past Mr. Dion Wei on that last one. 36% of voters put him in the A tier, and about 30% of voters put him in the highest tier. About 5.5% of voters put him down at the lowest tier. And this character reigning in from the Wei Kingdom, he's known for his ice cold moves and ice cold appearance. We've got Mr.
Not even fit to share the battlefield with me.
Getting closer and closer to that top. Coming in at number 35, barely squeaking past the last one with about a 0.6 overall difference between this character and Sao P. Similar to Sao P, 30% of people put this character in the S tier and 30% of people put him in the A tier. But because I think of the F tier ratings, only 3.5% people put him in the lowest tier. I think that's why he squeezed past Sao P. Coming from the Wei Kingdom, he had a very decorated career up until the Battle of Fawn Castle, and that's going to be...
You are not going to like the outcome of this encounter.
Next up, coming in at number 34, with almost a whopping 40% in the S tier, about 28% also put him in the A tier. However, because he received 10% of voters putting him in the lowest tier, I think that's what dragged him down to 34. This is the last character to receive that high of a percentage for that low tier. Coming in number 34, we have the Bridge Demon himself.
Let's fight! I don't even know the meaning of the word defeat!
Next up, coming in at number 33, 40% of voters put him in the A tier, making him among the highest of that tier. Around 28% of voters put him in the S tier, and only about 5.5% of people put him down in the lowest tier, getting a 0.1% overall difference between him and Zheng Fei. This character comes from the Wei Kingdom. He is argued to be the best strategist from the Wei Kingdom, and that's going to be...
I am Guo Jia. I should like to face you in battle.
Next up, coming in number 32, we have another strategist, but this time he is coming from the Shu Kingdom. 34% of voters put him in the S tier, around with 27% putting him in the A tier right beneath that. A 2% advantage over Guo Jia, and I think that's because his F tier placement was only about 3.7%. Not a lot of people putting this character in the lowest tier. And coming in at number 32, from the Shu Kingdom, we've got the timid, flashing, sword and hook user.
It is knowledge, not the blade, that ultimately wins battles.
Next up, coming in at number 31, 40% of this character's votes went to the A tier, making this character among the highest for that tier once again. Less than 3% of voters put this character down in the F tier. 20% of voters put the character up in the S tier, and by 0.09%, this character squeaked their way past the Shu strategist from the last number. Coming in number 31, from the Wei Kingdom, he's a master archer in the game, and that's going to be...
So, what am I gonna do with you?
Next up, coming in at number 30, 33% of voters put him in the S tier, and then 32% of voters put him in the A tier. Nearly a 0.2% difference between this character and the last one. And just like in the games and in real history, this character is going to find a way to get past Xiahou Yuan once again, and that character is...
That's another officer defeated by Huang Zhong!
Next up, coming in at number 29, breaking into the top 30, we've got this well-liked character. 35% of people putting him in the A tier, 31% of voters put him in the S tier, and less than 3.5% of voters put him down in the lowest tier. There is a less than 1% overall difference between this character and Huang Zhong. This character comes from the Wu Kingdom. He is a young strategist who takes up the arms after most of the other ones fall, and that's going to be...
Bear witness to the brilliance of the strategies I possess.
Next up, coming in at number 28, about 40% of voters put this character in the S tier. 5% of voters put this character down in the lowest tier, and then 23% put this character in the A tier. This character hails from the Kingdom of Wu. About a 0.4 difference in overall between this character and their comrade, Lu Xun. So coming in at number 28, we have one of the most protective characters from the game, and that's going to be...
I will slay any who threaten those under my care.
Next up, coming in at number 27, we've got a 0.13 overall difference between this character and the last character in Lian Shi. This character is going to reign in from the Wei Kingdom. 44% of voters put this character in the S tier, while about 7.5% put this character down in the lowest tier, probably why the character is so close and barely squeaked past Lian Shi. This character thirsts for vengeance and will not stop until they have it, and that's going to be...
I will not stop until vengeance is mine.
Next up, coming in at number 26, we got a big difference, almost 3% difference between this character and Miss Wang Yi. About 40% of voters put this character in the A tier, and about 30% of voters put this character in the S tier. And less than 2% of voters put this character down in the F tier. Very incredible to see that number. Hailing from the Shu Kingdom, this character is, and I would say almost rivals Lian Shi's protectiveness. We have.
I am going to enjoy participating in this battle.
Next up, coming in at number 25, starting off our top 25 most popular characters based on the data I collected. This character barely squeaks in here, 0.09% difference between this character and a character from their same kingdom. This character hails from Shu as well. 40% of voters put this character in the S tier, and about 30% of voters put this character in the A tier. 5% of voters put this character down in the F tier. One of the most intelligent characters from this game, the inventor herself.
Now is the time to show the results of my endless training.
Next up, coming in at number 24, we have another character from the Kingdom of Shu. About 70% of voters put this character in the S and the A tier, split pretty evenly. And just as impressively as some of the other characters we already mentioned, only 1.5% of voters put this character down in the lowest tier, which is crazy. Coming in at number 24, we have a Shu strategist. His role might not have lasted very long, but his impact was huge. And that's going to be...
I suppose it's time I took a little stroll around the battlefield.
Next up, coming in at number 23, similar to Peng Tong, this character has 70% of their votes coming in from S and A, and they're pretty even on the distribution. This character is going to reign in from the Wei Kingdom, and less than 2% of people are going to put this character down in the F tier. Nearly a 1% difference putting him above Peng Tong. We have...
No one is a match against me!
Now, coming at number 22, hailing from the Jin Kingdom, none of these characters above this number have less than 40% of their votes in the highest tier. So this character has 43% of their votes in the highest tier, and only 4% are putting this character down in the lowest one. 25% of people put this character also in the A tier, and because of all that, this character has a 0.6% difference, allowing them to squeak past him. And that character is the caring, but very intimidating and scary mother, which is...
I look forward to you begging me to stop.
Now, just before we hit the top 20, coming in at number 21, 48% of voters put this character in the highest tier, and then 20% of voters put this character also in the A tier. However, 6% of voters put this character down in the lowest tier, and because of that, this character, hailing from the Jin Kingdom, has a great relationship with the character from the last number, and that's going to be...
You have already fallen victim to my strategy.
Next up, coming in at number 20, starting off our top 20 most popular Dynasty Warriors characters. Have you seen your favorite yet? If you haven't, here they come. Almost 50% of voters put this character in the highest tier. About 7% of voters also put this character down in the lowest one, having almost a 2% overall difference between this character and Wang Yuanji. We've got the OG female character herself, and that's going to be...
Nothing will stop me from fulfilling my destiny.
Next up, coming in at number 19, this character has another 1% overall difference between Diao Chan and the character at number 19. This character is going to hail in from the Wu Kingdom. 46% of people put this character in the S tier. 4% of voters put this character down in the lowest tier. And hailing from the Wu Kingdom, wielding the bow or the chakrams, we've got...
Who says a woman has to be weak?
Next up, coming in at number 18, we have another character from the Kingdom of Wei. Almost 41% of voters put this character in the S tier, and around 30% put them in the tier below that. This character barely squeaks past Sun Shangzhang with a 0.09% difference in their overall percentage, and I think what helped this character get up to this level is the less than 2% of people putting this character down into the F tier. Coming in at number 18, from the Wei Kingdom, she'll play you a song of death before smacking you with her flute, and that's going to be...
Allow me to test your resolve.
Next up, coming in at number 17, 44% of people put this character in the S tier, 27% put this character in the A tier, and then 3% of voters are going to drop this character down into the lowest tier. About a 0.6 difference between this character and Zenji, daughter of the demon herself, we have...
You now face the daughter of Lu Bu. Prepare to die.
Now, coming in at number 16, we've got quite the difference in terms of the overall percentage. Their S percentage for voters was almost 57%. More than half of the people put this character up in the highest tier on average, and because of that, the 6% differential overall makes it so that the 16th and 17th spot aren't as close as they may seem. And about 5.5% of voters put this character down in the D or F tier. Starting off the powerhouses of popularity, we have the claw-wielding Butterfly General himself.
We shall show them the true meaning of beauty.
Next up, coming in at number 15, we got a similar percentage to Jung-ha, but this character had a higher percentage of voters putting this character in the A tier with about 26%, and then again, a whopping 55% of voters put this character in the S tier. Less than 5% of people put this character in the D or F tier, and a 2% overall difference between this character and Jung-ha. Coming from the Shu Kingdom, we have the man that always shouts justice.
I fight in the name of justice!
Next up, coming in at number 14, this character actually has less percentage than Ma Chao, coming from the Wu Kingdom. 54.7% of voters put this character in the S tier, but this character beats Ma Chao in the D and F category and the A category. Only 3% of voters put this character down in the D or F tier, making the percent differential 2.5%, which is quite the difference, even though looking at their numbers that they're almost kind of similar. But because of those two ratings, coming in at number 14, we've got the Little Conqueror himself.
One down. Many more to go.
Next up, coming in at number 13, again, an almost 2% differential between this character and Sun Ce. 56% of people put this character up in the S tier, and again, 30% of people put this character up in the A tier. Less than 3% of people put this character down in the D or F tier. Coming from the Wu Kingdom, just like Sun Ce, we've got probably the person who was closest to Sun Ce. Coming in at number 13, we have...
My intellect shall deliver victory in this battle to our forces.
Next up, coming in at number 12, we have another character from the Kingdom of Wu. 0.4 difference between this character and Zhou Yu. 59% of people put this character up in the S tier, and only 2.2% of people dropped this character down into the D or F tier. One of the most popular characters from the Wu Kingdom, and from the older games, I think that's where he gained a lot of his popularity because of the old weapon he used to have, and that's going to be...
Are you serious? You don't stand a chance.
Next up, coming in at number 11, nearly a 1% difference between this character and Gan Ning, just shy of the top 10. 56% of voters put this character up in the S tier. Less than 2%, only 1.4% of voters dropped this character down into the D or F tier, and around 27% of voters put this character up in the A tier. This is the last female character for the list. The most popular female character, according to the data that I collected, is going to be...
I am a descendant of the god of fire. Prepare to perish in flame.
Now, starting off our top 10, we have a 5% overall difference between number 10 and number 11. This character also has a whopping nearly 70% of people put this character in the S tier for this list. He hails from the Wei Kingdom. 2.4% of people dropped him down into the D or F tier, but because of such a high S tier rating, coming in at number 10, we have the origin of the Wei Kingdom himself.
I am the only one worthy enough to walk the realm of ambition.
Now, coming in at number 9, with a 0.06% difference between this character and the legendary Cao Cao. This character had only 64% of voters putting him up in the S tier. However, I think because of his D and F voter percentage, which was only at 1.2%, it is the third lowest rating percentage for putting a character in the D or F tier, which is why I think this character was raised up above the legendary Cao Cao. This character hails from the Wu Kingdom, and just like Cao Cao, he is the origin of the Wu Kingdom. Coming in at number 9, we have...
Fear the Tiger of Jiangdong!
Next up, coming in at number 8, only a 0.2 0.25% difference between this character and the last one in Sunjun. 68% of voters put this character up into the S tier, and 2.7% of voters dropped this character down into the D or the F tier. This character hails from the Shu Kingdom. He's one of the originals from the Shu Kingdom, and you cannot have a Dynasty Warriors game without this character. Coming in at number 8, we have...
Tremble before the God of War!
Next up, coming in at number 7, we have the second highest ranking Shu character on this list. 70% of voters put this character up in the S tier, and again, similar to Mr. Guan Yu, 2.7% of people are dropping him down into the D or F tier column. Because of that, this character had a 1% overall difference between him and Guan Yu. Coming in at number 7, hailing from the Shu Kingdom, we have the creator of the Three Kingdoms himself.
There is no greater weapon than a prepared mind.
Next up, coming in at number 6, right before we hit the top 5, we've got the highest ranking Wu character on the list. 69% of people put this character up in the S tier, and he has the second lowest rankings in terms of being put in the D or F tier. Only 0.9% of voters put this character down in the D and F tier, less than 1%, which is insane. Coming in at number 6, the highest ranking Wu character on this list, according to my data, we've got the badass Silent Warrior himself.
I will slay as many officers as necessary to fulfill my duty.
Next up, coming in at number 5, this character has a whopping 76% of voters putting this character here at number 5. This character reigning in is the highest ranking Shu character in this list according to the data I collected. A 2% overall difference between this character and Jotai. Coming in at number 5, we've got the soul of the Dynasty Warriors games.
I wield my spear in the name of justice!
Next up, coming in at number 4, we have a very popular character. He's among my favorites as well. Reigning in from the Wei Kingdom, 74% of people put this character up into the S tier. Only 1.4% of people dropped this character down into the D or the F tier. About a 1% overall difference between this character and Xiao Yun. Coming in at number 4, from the Wei Kingdom, we've got the charismatic, one-eyed legendary general himself.
Do you wish to test the edge of my blade?
Coming in with the bronze medal, we have the top 3 remaining characters. This character has a whopping 75% of voters putting him in the S tier column. Only 1.5% of people put him down into the D or the F tier. This character, whose strategies shall reign supreme in the origin of the destruction of the Three Kingdoms. Coming in at number 3, we have...
Come, prove to me that you are not the complete idiot you appear to be.
Next up, coming in at number 2, he is the only other character besides the number 1 character to share this stat, which is 81% of voters put this character up into the S tier, and this is the lowest ranking character in terms of being placed in the D or F tier. Only 0.5% of voters put this character down into the D or the F tier. A 6% overall difference between this character and Sima Yi. If you haven't guessed it already, coming in at number 2, we have...
I am the strongest warrior in the land, and I refuse to retreat no matter what!
And then finally, coming in at number 1 by process of elimination, 87.5% of voters put this character up into the S tier. 2% of people put him down into the D or F tier. Surprisingly enough, this character at number 1 had a less than 1% difference between him and Zheng Liao. But nonetheless, this character still reigns supreme after all these years, and that's going to be...
There are none who can stand before me!
Anyway guys, that's all I have for the video today. Hope you guys enjoyed my list. I appreciate everyone who participated in the polls and helped me gather all this data that helped me answer the question of which character really is the most popular. When I did the video back a couple of years ago, I just kind of found like random lists of people that did it and then made the list off of that. But now we have a concrete, as close as I can with the data that I was able to collect. This is the most accurate, most popular list of Dynasty Warriors characters ranked from the lowest all the way up until the highest. Of course, with more votes, emotes, we can get more and more refined, but I'm only limited to so much. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I definitely appreciate a like, comment, or subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the results down below. I'll put a link down below if you guys want to see the detailed results. It's a lot of information, so if you want to go through it, that's up to you. Anyway guys, that's all I got, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.